We are so excited to be at Grace Fisher's Clubhouse. It is magical in so many ways. Where you are sitting, I teach dance class. It's such a special place in my heart and many of your hearts. I know a lot of you have been here, so thank you for being here. Nance?
This is where we will be holding our seminars next year. Instead of the University Club, we will be here
At 10 a.m.
at 10 a.m. And so next January, we will have Kate Martin come speak. And she will be speaking on organization for the new year.
Yay!
Let's get organized.
Yes, so make sure you sign up before you leave with me at the front at the table. So the way this is going to go is we're going to have our awesome motivational speaker. And then at 11, we will dismiss you to go to the different vendor tables in your bag. There's a form you need to get initialed each vendor, and that will be your raffle ticket. We have a lot of wonderful raffle prizes that we'll talk about in a little bit. But our amazing speaker needs to catch a flight, so without further ado, Dr. Kathy Grimmer!
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be back. So I was with these fabulous ladies a couple times last year. I did a stress talk, and then last December, I talked about joy. And they were so filled with joy, they contacted me a couple months ago and said, let's be joyful again. So I'm going to do my best. I'm going to take this off because I'm going to just play with it the whole time. So just a little bit about me. I'm a local here in Santa Barbara. I grew up in Pittsburgh, made my way to California to pursue an acting career. So I was in Hollywood for about 10 years, where I clearly did not find enough joy. So I left there. Came to Santa Barbara, where I started a massage practice and healing. I do hypnotherapy, I do coaching, life coaching, executive coaching, couples coaching. I'm a psychedelic coach, if any of you feel like traveling in a way. And I'm a motivational speaker. And I've been, it's the acting thing, right? I've been speaking pretty much my whole life. I've done probably 300 talks worldwide. In fact, I literally am catching a noon flight today. So I will be heading to Florida to facilitate. It is a true joy for me, literally and figuratively, to be here with you and to share just some tips and tools of how to have more joy in your life. So the first thing that I want to do is talk about light and letting your light shine in the world. So this is something that I wrote years ago for a Christmas celebration, and it speaks for itself. I'll let you enjoy this. And feel free, if you want, to just close your eyes and let the words sink in. You can focus on the darkness of the sky, or you can see the stars. It's been a few weird years. Politics, the environment, economics. We could say there's been much darkness lately. And with the backdrop of that darkness, December is a time to celebrate the light. Christmas and the other holidays associated with this time, Hanukkah, Yule, Kwanzaa, the winter solstice, all of these holidays are about light. I mean, the wise men even followed the light of the brightest star to find Jesus the Christ. Winter solstice is that time where the wheel of the year turns and we leave darkness to welcome back the light of the sun. Sun God, Son of God. The days get longer, and that mystery of night shortens. And in welcoming back that light, we can leave the fear and the worry, the hate and the prejudice. Every day, the power of that light grows, not just in us, but around us and through us. We all have a powerful light inside of ourselves. In lighting our own light, we illuminate those around us. This light mingles and grows. It shines on those who feel like they don't have their own torch. Perhaps it's just a spark from a match that quickly peters out. But if we join our light with the light of those around us, we spotlight the entire sky. Darkness cannot exist in the light. Sadness, fear, hatred, anger cannot exist in the light. That's what this time of year is about. And as I walk through this world, I picture dropping sparkles of light that the people around me may feel it when they need it. Maybe it's a smile, a hug, holding the door for someone, raising money, or donating your time. Sometimes we doubt our light. We have a rough time or challenges. We've all been there. We can stand in solidarity to acknowledge that sometimes we're just spent. That's when we can rely on the light from those around us. There is enough for everyone. And that's what this time of year is for. Gathering in your community, your church, your temple, with your friends and family to share yourself and your light. Each and every one of you. Look around and see the light in those people, because by acknowledging it in others, it grows, just like the Grinch's heart. Feel it. Let it out. Let your light shine. Combine it with others. Share your light and glow. And as I read a few quotes, think about expanding the reach of your inner light and your love. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Martin Luther King Jr. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Plato. Travel light, live light, spread the light, be the light. Yogi Bhajan. Light must come from inside. You cannot ask the darkness to leave. You must turn on the light. Rinpoche. It is better to light one small candle than to curse the darkness. Eleanor Roosevelt. And finally, thousands of candles can be lighted from a single candle, and the life of that candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. Buddha. And as we move through this holiday season into 2025, remember your light. Be generous with your light, because light always triumphs darkness. Think of ways right now that you can share your light. Thank you. Now, how about some joy? So I did a lot of research on joy. I do a lot of talks on humor and happiness, and I discovered 10 ways that we can enhance our joy in the world. So I thought I'd give you some tips on enhancing your joy. So the first one is gratitude and journaling. I recommend to so many of my clients they keep a gratitude journal, and the reason is, it's not necessarily to be grateful in that moment, but what it's useful for is on a day that you are feeling spent, on a day that you are feeling negative, you can go back through those things that you're grateful for and remember them. You can rely on them in a moment where you aren't feeling your best, where you wonder, oh, what is the point of all of this? And I had a client say, this gratitude thing always threw me. I feel like it has to be some giant thing. And I said, no, what about you drove your car to get here? And you woke up in a bed, and you had hot water when you turned on the faucet, and these lights work, and we're in this beautiful space with food, the cookie. I'm grateful for the cookie from Bristol Farms, because nothing tops the cookie. You're all drinking hot coffee. You know, it's like there's so many little things that we forget about every day to be grateful for. We don't think about electricity until we turn on the light and it doesn't work. We don't think about our car until it doesn't start that morning. We're not grateful often for those things. So I encourage you to be grateful for that. Some of the other things you can journal about. What is the best thing that happened to you today? My husband and I often say that, like, what was the highlight of your day? And sometimes it's just, I smiled at a stranger in a store and they smiled back. Maybe it's as simple as that. What are 5 things you like about yourself? Because on days where you don't like yourself, you can go back and refer to those. Make a list of people that make you happy. What's your favorite part of your neighborhood or your community? We live in a teeny little, Santa Barbara, we live in a teeny little house, but we have this oak tree in the backyard, and it just makes me so happy every time I look at it. And in moments where I'm feeling not so filled with joy, I'll stand outside and I'll just watch the birds in this tree. It's the simplest thing, but it brings me such happiness. Maybe that's not joy for you, so find what brings that for you. What is a fond memory that you share with a good friend? If we have those on hand, then they can help elevate our mood and our joy. They bring positivity to our lives. The second one, exercise, especially dancing. Now last year I made everyone get up and dance. I got some dirty looks from the men in the room. Not you, I don't think you were there. But it was, so we're not gonna make you dance. Where'd she, there's my dancer back there. But we're in a dance studio, and I had the privilege of doing a lot of studying of stress and mind body medicine and mindfulness at Harvard, and they did a lot of studies on life satisfaction, and it shows that exercise is not only good for your mind, your spirit, your body, of course, but it also adds to life satisfaction. And the number one exercise for life satisfaction? Dancing. You could do it in your chair. I'm dancing in the car all the time. People around me must think I'm crazy. I'm blaring music and dancing in the car. But you could do that anywhere. Pick your favorite song and just dance in your house. Dance in your chair. You still get that boost of feel-good hormones and feel-good chemicals. Of course, go to the gym. If you're not a gym person, and that's okay, there are classes you can do online. Find a gym buddy or someone that can exercise with you. Maybe it's just a 10-minute walk every day. Find people that can help inspire you and keep you moving. And if you're not sure what you like to do, think back to what you did as a kid. Did you like to ride your bike around the neighborhood? Maybe you do a spin class or you get a stationary bike. I have to say, I was a huge kickball fan when I was a kid. That red ball, when they would pull that red ball out of the smell, I can still remember the smell. Well, Santa Barbara actually has a kickball league. Now you do shots as you run around the bases, which I don't remember doing as a kid, but it's led to some very interesting videos as people kick the ball and fall down. Brings me joy. There's so many beautiful adult ed classes here in town, and if you have a workout buddy or somebody that can help keep you accountable to that, that's amazing. Interestingly, I had a friend who wasn't interested in teaching yoga, but she was such a huge fan of yoga, she actually did a teacher training. Not with any intention to teach, but for her that was a way of exercising and learning and really kind of like sparking the inspiration in herself. So adding an exercise is one of those ways to bring joy. Keep on learning. I am endlessly curious. I am a lifetime learner. I recently texted my husband and said, you cannot leave me alone in the house, because I was notified that my favorite continuing ed organization was having a Black Friday sale. And I signed up for 140 hours of continuing education. It was on sale. Saving money brings me joy. But what's cool about that is with my coaching and my massage and doing talks like this, the more I know, the more I can help everybody else. Because you guys probably don't have any desire or time to do 140 hours of continuing education. So I do it for you. Good. So you're welcome. So the more that you all know, the more you can help people. And it also keeps us young and keeps our brains moving. So if you want to learn things, read. I know reading. How many good readers out there? Yeah. Do you guys like regular books, or are you the Kindle people? Regular books? Yeah. I want the feel of a book. It's the tactile thing and the smell of a library book. Oh, it's just incredible. There's endless podcasts. There's learning you can do here in town. Again, adult ed has incredible opportunities in this town to learn things. Teacher training, like a client of mine did. Being around younger people. I love that I am around so many people younger than me, because they keep me up on not only what's happening on things like Instagram and TikTok, I know what all the new initials stand for, and I know what the new bands are, and it just keeps me young and motivated to kind of keep up with them in a way. YouTube is, not that it wasn't skyrocketing before, but you can find anything on YouTube, whether it's soothing music or a travel video or something that you want to learn about. There's endless resources in this world now to keep us growing and learning. And then, of course, there's online learning. For any of you that want to do 140 continuing education hours, come over, we'll do them together. Nature. Nature is one of the greatest things that we can do for our brains, for our mood. Studies show that by looking at something pretty, especially in nature, it actually, again, ups the good chemicals in our brain. It calms the nervous system. It soothes the blood pressure. Our heart and our respiratory rate slow when we are in nature. We're in Santa Barbara. This is one of the most incredible places ever for nature. So take a walk, take a tour. Even if you're watching videos about nature or looking at photos of nature, our brain does not understand the difference between what we're thinking about and imagining and what's actually happening. So if you are watching videos of nature and animals and things that make you happy, your brain thinks you're right there with it. If you close your eyes and imagine yourself on your favorite beach in your chaise lounge, and you feel the sand as you trail your fingers in the sand, and you inhale that fresh ocean air, and you can hear the gulls crying overhead and the water pounding on the shore, and you take a sip of your favorite frosty beverage, you've basically been on vacation. And your brain doesn't know the difference. You don't have to travel. You can stay in your home and be on vacation there. It's pretty amazing what the brain can do. So if you like flowers, visit a nursery. There's beautiful, the orchid show and all these beautiful things that come through town. Keep fresh flowers in your home, or silk flowers. That just ups our mood having those in the house. Take a floral design class. Continuing ed and adult ed, and there's some wedding planners in town that do floral arranging. It's a really fun thing to do. And take a walk or a drive. Plant trees. There are organizations where you can donate and they will plant trees in your honor. It's actually a beautiful gift. So for those of you who aren't in nature a lot, I included some of my favorite shots of nature. This was in the Pacific Northwest, I think Santa Barbara. I love these clouds. It's been so beautiful with the clouds the last couple of days.
Yes.
That's Central Park in New York. And that's again, somewhere up in Washington. Okay, so animals. How many of you have pets? Yay! Cats? Dogs? Ooh, the cat people won. Yes, I knew we could do it. Because we have the greatest cat in the world. So, if you're an animal person, pets are one of the greatest companions that we can have. Especially if you have a dog and you're out walking said dog. That is the greatest way to meet people, right? Because everybody wants to know your dog. I have friends, they know the name of every dog in the neighborhood. They have no clue what the human names are. That's Buster and Freddie and Mixie. They don't know the human's name. Buster's dad's really fun. What is Buster's dad's name? I don't know. So, if you do not have a pet, and you get a pet, be around other people's pets. There are places to volunteer in town. There's cat cafes and there's cat shelters. The cat cafe, I think it's still over on Hitchcock, is pretty fantastic. You sit there with your coffee and you pet and play with cats. And hopefully you adopt one. I think that's the end result. Watch funny and cute animal videos. They're all over YouTube. They're all over TikTok. And find animals in nature with a bird feeder. Seriously, one of my biggest joys is the bird feeders I have in the backyard. And yes, it attracts mice. And when the pest guy came and I said, I'd like to get rid of the mice, he said, what's with all these bird feeders? And I said, I'm not getting rid of my birds. He goes, then you're not getting rid of your mice. And I went, okay. I've become that lady where I'm watching my birds. Find ways to bring nature to you. Your cats are good. Alistair, 18-pound Maine Coon. He thinks he's a human. He talks to us. He goes on walks with us. We're debating about taking him in the 5-hour drive to Christmas. We'll see if that happens. But if you don't have a pet of your own, enjoy other people's animals. And again, they're all over the internet. Joy number 6, laughter. Laughter is one of the greatest things that we can do in our lives. Any idea how many times a 4-year-old laughs every day? Over 300. Any idea how many times a 40-year-old laughs? 3. So between the age of 6 or 4 and 30, a lot has passed, but boy has laughter ceased. Clearly they're not hanging out in my house because we laugh all the time, but laughter is one of the greatest things for you. Again, it shifts the chemistry of the brain. Just smiling, even if you're having a completely miserable day, smiling tells your brain that you're happy, and you'll start to make yourself happy. It's the top down versus the bottom up. If you just smile, if you laugh, and I have to say, a dear client of mine, Dorothy, she passed away at 96. She attributed laughing every day to her longevity and her weekly massage. But she would just toss her head back and laugh. She was a hilarious person. The very first time I showed up to do a massage on her, her instructions were very clear. Park here, open my front door, say hello, come on back to the back bedroom, set up your table, I'll be ready. I'm like, yes, ma'am. So I stop in the doorway, hello, come on back. I come on back, I set up the table, she walks out of the bathroom, soaking wet, buck naked, and goes, I just had a bowel movement. Now, I didn't know this woman, so the whole scene was stunning, and I didn't know what that meant. So I looked at her and I said, well, good for you. Because I didn't know if that was a problem for her, and this is the first one she had all week, or that meant she wasn't going to poop on my table. Either way, I was pleased that she had had a bowel movement. But she was convinced that just throwing her head back and laughing every day. And she was a hoot. She was so hip. She did a striptease at her own 90th birthday. She loved to exercise naked. And I went, do you think that's a good idea with the neighbors? And she said, yeah, but I'm fenced in. And what she failed to realize was there was a second story above her that could look directly down into her yard as she's standing in the laughing and smiling. So I don't know if the neighbors laughed at it, but she sure had a good time. Okay, the last thing about Dorothy. She was being herself. She was fully being herself. She would always just keep the door open on days that I was coming for the massage, and she would get out of the shower, get on the table, why put on clothes? You're getting on the table. So there was one day that someone knocked, And she assumed it was me, and she goes, "Come in!" And the knocking, "Come in!" Well, it was someone to see if she needed to have her carpet cleaned. And this poor young lady walked in to find buck-naked, wet Dorothy standing in the living room. She started locking her door after that point. Okay, so here's a few of the little cartoons that I found that made me laugh. The more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap. Stay safe. Cookie. The cookie. Pavlov's cat. If you have a cat, you know. They look at you with those eyes and go, "Oh, I gotta feed you now." Be honest, is this too much lettuce? Yeah. This was my favorite cartoon. I loved The Far Side growing up, and I was a gifted student, as you can tell. And it was up in our little gifted classroom. It was just, we were all like, yeah, that sounds about right. How stupid can they be? Neither of them are wearing goggles. I don't think that's the biggest problem right now. Okay. So the other thing that we can do to enhance joy, to enhance life satisfaction, to enhance positivity, is to focus on the positive. So I have a little exercise that I want to do right now. Everybody look around the room and find everything you can that's red. Remember everything that's red. There's plenty of red today, so noticing all the red. Thank you for being Christmas. All right, now you've remembered all the red. Now close your eyes and recall everything you saw that was blue. I know it's drastically unfair. You can open your eyes and yeah, we're all looking at you, sir. The blue stuff didn't disappear. We just weren't told to focus on it. And that just illustrates that what we're looking for is what we find. That's what our brain does. Our brain is like a computer. It looks for what we're programming. So the blue stuff didn't disappear. We just weren't looking for it. So when all we're looking for is the negative stuff, that's all we're going to find. That's how our brain works. It moves towards things that it's familiar with. I have a girlfriend, she's back on the dating apps after a while, and she says, "Kathy, I swear to God, I've dated the same guy in 7 different sweaters." There's something in her subconscious that is picking the same type of guy over and over again, because that's all she knows. So with things like affirmations and visualization and positive thinking, we can train our brain to look for something else. We can train our brain to see the blue and not the red. So I have a little story that I want to share. I do a lot of traveling for speaking, and I had the huge privilege of heading to the UK. It was my very first trip out of the country, and I was desperate to get to Stonehenge. Any of you been to Stonehenge? Oh, yes, it's one of my favorite places. I had the huge privilege of going back, which I never thought I'd get to. So I started to look into this trip, and I realized the places I wanted to go to, I couldn't get to on a tour, I couldn't get to on a bus or a train. I was going to have to drive. You know where this is going. So, my very first time out of the country, by myself, by the way, I rented a car and I headed off into the countryside on the wrong side of the road, on the wrong side of the car, and I was mildly terrified because I had no clue what I was doing and no one to help. And this was before easily doing stuff on your cell phone. I had to get a global cell phone that was like $6 a minute if I wanted to call somebody. It was ridiculous. So I get this rental car, I'm tentative, I'm hesitant, I head out into the countryside, and I arrive at Stonehenge. Dream come true. I barely remember being there, except I have like 700 pictures of me like jumping. So after I left Stonehenge, I went up the street to Woodhenge. Did you know there's a Woodhenge? No. It's the same thing, but wood. The stumps, it's just not still there, obviously, but I had a nice lunch there, and then I continued on. I went to Avebury, where the entire town is a stone circle. You walk down this mile of standing stones, and it opens up into this huge circle where people are hugging them and leaning against them and meditating. It was incredible. And then I went to Bath, because that Roman influence was so cool, and I trailed my hand in the water, even though I don't think I was supposed to. Then I went to this little town called Stanton Drew. Stanton Drew had nothing but a church, 6 houses, and this stone circle in this guy's backyard. It was barely as big as all these chairs. And I walked through this guy's yard, donation thing, and I sat in the middle of this circle and I meditated. Well, I tried to meditate. Wasn't particularly good at it then, I've learned since, but I did my best to stay focused and present and experience the amazingness of this place. But I realized if I was going to get to where my end destination was, I was going to have to leave. My end destination was Glastonbury, the Tor, ancient Avalon. I was on a spiritual quest, and I was going to climb that hill at sunset and put my arms up in the air, and I was going to get sucked into an ancient and mystical realm. I told my friends, I'm not coming back. I'm going to be in the book, Mists of Avalon. And they're like, I'll see you Wednesday. So I realized if I want to get to check into my bed and breakfast, climb this hill, I had to leave. So I get in my car. By this time I had the wrong side of the road, wrong side of the car thing down. I got the radio on. I'm higher than I've ever been. To get to all these, this was one day, by the way. Oh. Type A travel. Capricorn. So I'm in the car, I'm heading to my bed and breakfast, and I come around a blind curve, and there's a truck in my lane. I swerve to miss the truck, and my tire hits this low stone curve that skirts the entire countryside of England, and I blow the tire. I don't just blow the tire, I bend the rim on this car, and I was stranded. The truck didn't stop, nobody was stopping for me. In that moment, I went from my highest high to my lowest low as I realized I was stuck here, and I didn't know what to do, and it was gonna be dark soon, and I'm freaking out, and I'm unhappy. This is the worst thing that ever happened to me. I'm so miserable. Why me? This is my vacation. This is awful. And I realized, oh no, I gotta pull it together. So I call AAA. Their version's AA, which I thought was hilarious. So I call AA. It could be an hour and a half before they come for me. Oh my God, this is the worst day of my life, and I can't believe this is happening. I pull it together long enough because I realized I need to let the bed and breakfast lady know. She's sitting there waiting for me. So I dialed her. She gets on the phone. I said, hey, Michu, this is Kathy Groover. I said, I'm going to be late because this truck ran me off the road, and they didn't even stop. Did I tell you they didn't stop? I don't know what's wrong with people in this country. In my country, they wouldn't stop for a woman on the side of the road. And I just go off. She interrupts me, and she says, are you safe? I said, I don't know if I'm safe. I'm stuck on the side of the road. It's going to be dark soon. No one's stopping in the stupid truck, and they didn't even stop, and they saw me. They didn't. And I go off again, and she stops me again, and she says, are you looking at something pretty? Am I looking at something pretty? No, I'm looking around the corner to see the AA's guys coming because I want to climb the hill, and now you're stuck waiting for me, and this is screwing everything up, and I'm an only child. And there's certain things that upset us only children, and one of them is other things screwing with our plans, because the world revolves around us. I don't know if you knew. So she stops me one more time, and she says, well, you'll sit, you'll wait, you'll look at something pretty, you'll get here when you get here. And the bitch hung up on me. Did not help my mood. And I was tempted to call her back and go off again, but I realized I could stay with this woman for a while. I probably shouldn't upset her. And I started to do the math. Can I call California and continue to complain? Because I was stuck in this negative place of just poor me, and this is my vacation and my first trip, and why is this happening to me? And I complained for a good 10 minutes, still no AA guy, and I realized, okay, look, she's right. I can't change this. Maybe I can find something pretty. And for the first time, I turned away from the road, and that's what was behind me. Not this exact thing, because I didn't have a sense to take the picture of the exact thing, because there was no old structure on it, but this is kind of what it looked like. And the sun was starting to go down, and it was that beautiful time of day that photographers love. It's that magic time, where the light is, it's not more vibrant, but somehow the colors are more brilliant. And I kicked my legs over the stone wall, and I watched as nature went to sleep. And as the sun started to go down, I could see the shadow along the shrubberies moving and changing. And I closed my eyes, and I took this deep breath, and I could smell that sweet grass, which I can still remember the smell of. And I sat there for maybe, I don't know, half an hour. And the AA guy came. It only took him 50 minutes. And yes, I missed the sunset that night on the tour, but I had a whole nother night to see it. And I realized this spiritual quest I was on had nothing to do with me putting my arms up in the air and getting sucked into a mystical book. It had, the point of it was the sense that I had to listen to this woman who basically said, sit there and shut up and be present. To shift your focus, because you can always find something wrong. There's always something wrong. But just like the blue and the red, if you're only looking for what's wrong, that's all you're gonna find. So shifting your focus and positiveness is going to bring more joy into your life, more positivity. And then that radiates out just like that light. It affects the people around you when you are filled with joy and positivity. I like the music in the background. It's kind of whimsical. Okay. And the last one is love. So right now, I invite you just to close your eyes and think about someone you love. What do they look like? What do they smell like? Could be a person, could be an animal, something that brings you great joy and love. And let that feeling of love grow in you. And take that love that you feel for that person that's so strong and send that love out to maybe someone you don't really love. And wish for them peace. And wish for them healing. And wish for them that love that you feel for that first person you were thinking of. Now think of someone you feel sort of neutral about. You don't have strong emotions about them either way, and send that person love. And send them peace. And send them joy and compassion. Now think about yourself as you sit here in this present moment, in this chair, in this room, and send yourself love. And wish for yourself peace of mind and healing. And compassion. And joy. And in a few seconds, when you open your eyes, look to the people around you in this room and send them love and joy and compassion and healing. I see smiles. Yay. So before we finish off with something silly, in the spirit of learning, I wanted to share some silly facts that you really need to know as we move forward today. A chicken once lived for 18 months without a head. So when they say you're running around with a chicken with his head cut off, I mean, maybe it's okay. Wearing a tie can reduce blood flow to the brain by 7.5%. Where are my dog people? The oldest dog lived to 29 and a half years old. The world's oldest cat, 38 years and 3 days. His name was Cream Puff, just so you know. I love this one. You can actually die laughing, typically due to intense laughter causing a heart attack or suffocation, so I hope you're all okay. This is hilarious. Most maps of the world are wrong. On most maps, the Mercator projection, first developed in 1569, is still used. This method is wildly inaccurate and makes Alaska appear as large as Brazil and Greenland, 14 times larger than it actually is. Now, here's the interesting part. For a map to be completely accurate, it would need to be life-sized. So my question is, does it have those awkward folds so that we can get it folded back up? Because I still can't do that on a small map. I don't know what I do with a life-size one. Here's a disturbing one. Chainsaws were first invented for childbirth. Any of you have kids out there? I don't, I've seen them. A woman in India was constipated for 45 days. They removed a mass as large as a football. I know, it's gross. Your nails grow faster in hot summer. Animals can be allergic to humans. Lego bricks withstand compression better than concrete. Platypuses sweat milk. And this one's interesting. You don't like the sound of your own voice because of the bones in your head. Because I know the first time we've all heard our own voice, it sounds terrible. Everyone thinks that. It's the bones in our own head. And the last one, the longest anyone has held their breath underwater, anyone want to take a guess? Over 24 minutes. Croatian Budimir Sobat on March 27th of 2021. On average, a human can hold their breath between 30 and 90 seconds. He did 24 minutes and 37 seconds. That is crazy. I'm not going to make you try that because I don't want any of you to die laughing. Okay. So to recap our joy. So gratitude, keeping a gratitude journal is one of the greatest things you can do, and then you can refer back to it when you're not feeling so great. Exercise, we know the benefits of that, getting up and dancing. We had an amazing pianist playing some music for us. Maybe she'll play again and we can all boogie down to something. Learning, silly facts. I love silly facts, they're insane. Nature is great, animals are amazing. Laughter keeps us young, keeps us filled with joy. Positivity, and finally love. And I want to radiate out love to all of you, and I'm so grateful that you're here. I'm so grateful for everyone putting this together. And I want to end with a little bit of silliness. Now, I do aerial silks for fun, also flying trapeze, so that is me on my birthday, showing that age doesn't matter. But, so as an only child, I had to make up a lot of my own games growing up. My dad had the greatest sense of humor in the world, and one of my favorite things to do as a kid was Mad Libs. And so as you were all coming in, my husband helped and we grabbed some words for people. So I'd like to end with a poem. 'Twas the night before Memorial Day, when all through the house, not a creature was smiling, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The memes were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of earrings danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our shoulders for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sank from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, shipped open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen park gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my busy eyes did appear but a miniature sleigh and 107 tiny reindeer. With a lively old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he ran and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Firefighter, now Prancer and Cold, on Comet, on Grinch, on Donner and Goofy. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As leaves that before the beautiful hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of cats and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the excited pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the dog St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in suede from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of children he had flung on his back. Awkward. And he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled. His Venice, how merry. His cheeks were like roses. His nose like a cherry. His awesome little mouth was drawn up like a bow. And the beard on his chin was as purple as the snow. The stump of a wife he held tight in his teeth. And the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round pinky toe that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of mac and cheese. It's kind of accurate. He was marvelous and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his helicopter soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not an ocean, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his puppy aside of his hands, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all surfed like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim as he drove out of sight, "Wow!" I did a talk recently in the UK for a bunch of hypnotherapists, and I took a very famous hypnotic induction and I made it into a Mad Lib, and what I didn't really realize is the UK does not know what a Mad Lib is. And so the reason we got the prompts ahead of time is I spent like 10 minutes going, noun! And all these British people going, what? And finally, one woman goes, okay, penis. Which was hilarious. It fit perfect. None of you said penis, which is okay. So I am Dr. Kathy Gruber. I'm here locally. I did bring a couple of my books. I have to rush off to the airport, but I've written 9 books. I brought a couple of them with me. Journey of Healing is my favorite one. I know you're not supposed to have a favorite child, but that's my favorite. I brought a couple copies of each of these if anyone wants them. And please reach out to me. I'm here locally if I can help you with coaching or hypnosis or massage or anything like that. I'm here, and I'm so grateful that you're here, and thank you for having me back. And I'm so enjoying
We are so grateful you came back. Thank you. Thank you again, everyone, for being here. We would also love to thank our educational partners that help us put these on monthly. As Nancy mentioned, we have moved our 10 a.m. senior seminars to the clubhouse. And starting next month, we will actually be hosting them up front with tables so you have somewhere to put your coffee. So we just wanted to
And Bristol Farms.
Yes, big thank you to Bristol Farms.
Bristol Farms will be here all year next year.
Oh, wow.
And Tuesdays.
And Tuesdays is their senior discount day.
Yay!
So after this is done, you can walk over to Bristol Farms and get your 10% off.
Yes.
So our other educational partners, our Mission Park, thank you for joining us. We have Holly's here from Woodglen Hall, and Peter Trent with Paragon Mortgage Group. We also have the Key Center for Successful Aging, Cody's Cafe, Poor Lamar Nursery donated all the beautiful flowers. Down Syndrome Association, Curated Transitions, Channel Islands Fiduciary Group, and your SBT, Nancy and Grace Fisher Foundation. I would also like to, where is Jean? Thank you for playing the piano this morning. Oh, and we have Jay, Jill, and the Good Samaritan are here as well. So what we're asking is, these are in each of your bags. Can you please visit each vendor table? They will initial that you came by. This one is not, she was not able to make it today, but all the other ones, once you get this initial, please put your name, email, and number. This is your raffle entry, raffle prizes. We have a gift certificate donated by Sister Cities. Bonnie is here as well. Bonnie, thank you for being here. So we have a chocolate gift certificate from Sister Cities. Jay Jill brought a gift basket. Mission Park also brought a gift basket. Your SB team, we have 8 $25 gift cards to Cody's Cafe. Woodglen has cookies. Make sure you get one of those from their tables. Am I missing anything?
Peter has glasses.
Yes, yes. Don't forget your beautiful holiday glasses. And we will, it's 11, so by 11, let's say 11:25, 11:30, we will start the raffle. So we will just, and then, please enjoy more coffee and their delicious cookies. Yes, and talk so much yourself. Thank you.